invite the next panelist for the next session and the last session of the day. Session will be IT implementations in PSUs. I invite Shri Mukesh Meshramji. He is MD UP State Road Transport Corporation. I invite you on the stage, sir. Then I invite Mr. A.K. Nigam, MD of Maharashtra Forest Development Corporation, on stage. I invite Mr. Deepak Srivastav, Chief Vigilance Officer, Mahanadi Coalfields Limited, on stage. I invite now Mr. N.K. Verma, Chief General Manager, IT, Rashtriya Chemical Fertilizers Limited. Rashtriya Chemical Fertilizers Limited is also a PSU partner of this event. We thank you a lot, sir, for partnering with us in this event. And I also invite Mr. Nitin Chandurkar, Chief General Manager, IT, Mahagenco. We are waiting for Shri Deepak Srivastav. Yeah, we can start with it. And I tell you that there will be good PPTs like one of... okay, so I hand over this session to Shri A.K. Nigam to moderate it. Sir, please.
It's indeed my pleasure to moderate this session. As you see, it is the last session. That's the good news. And the panel is also very small. But maybe you are missing those who could not make it, and they are also enlightened people, distinguished people. I will be the last person to speak in this. I would first request Mr. Mukesh Meshram, who is the Managing Director of UP State Road Transport Corporation. It's a well-known organization, doing very well in so many sectors in addition to road. He has come with the PowerPoint presentation. I'm sure you would like that. It will be very enlightening. Mr. Meshram, you are requested to please start your presentation. I may introduce other panelists also who are here. You know already. Mr. Chandurkar is on my side, and Mr. N.K. Verma, he is here. Verma ji is representing Rashtriya Chemicals and Fertilizers, and Mr. Chandurkar is CGM from Mahagenco. Mr. Deepak Srivastav yet to join. Yes, Mr. Meshram, please.
Thank you, sir. Very good evening to all of you. This is about Uttar Pradesh State Road Transport Corporation. PSUs, as you know, about different PSUs. Same is the story of UPSRTC also, struggling for the sustainability, because many of the PSUs are getting closed down or at the verge of extinction kind of. Anyhow, UPSRTC is still doing better in terms of other PSUs of the state. Our mission is efficient, economic, coordinated and adequate services, and endeavor is safety of the passengers' comfort, environment conservation and regulated services, timely services and all that. We operate across the state in 20 regions through 115 depots, and we also have one taxi section having 100 taxis, that is known as car section. 2 central workshops for body making, bus body making, and for other repairs and maintenance work. We also have 1 driver's training school at Kanpur. Then we have 9,650 buses fleet, out of which 7,500 buses UPSRTC own and there are some hired buses as well. Annual budget is around 3,000 crore and employees are more than 50,000. So that is the profile of our organization. Then there are certain problems. So we identified the problems because continuously there have been revenue pilferage that too by our field staff in terms of WTs without ticket passengers. In some of the cases, more than 50% passengers we found out were having no tickets. So ticketless passengers carried by our buses because of some kind of sense of irresponsibility among the field staff. So we now are trying to solve this problem through IT solutions. Then there was also diesel pilferage that is still going on. It is to the tune of 10%. We buy diesel of 800 crore rupees per annum, and we have made a survey which suggests us that 10% pilferage is continuously being done by our field staff. So if we do some kind of intervention or IT solution for that, so at least 10% saving we can achieve, and that is handsome amount for an institution like UPSRTC. Then there are certain other aspects of ticketing convenience to make ticket available to the customer at his or her convenience. Payment convenience through multiple secure payment options through online payment gateways and all. Travel information, because there was no timetable available and our buses were not also running on time, so they were used to be extra services most of the time. Now we are making it more focused as per the timetable which is available to the public as such. Then operation control, passenger safety, disaster management and 24/7 helpline, potentials for incremental revenue and reduction in manual work, stop cost. So we have implemented this intelligent transport management system with financial assistance from Government of India, and the project cost is 38.25 crore, out of which 50% amount has to be shared by UPSRTC. 5 years period after go live. In the month of August, we are supposed to start formally. Right now, we are running this project on trial basis in 2 regions as a pilot project in Ghaziabad and Lucknow. Now, after making an analysis and impact assessment of the whole project, we will soon scale up to other regions. These are the objectives, as I have already mentioned: ticketing convenience, payment convenience, green initiative in the form of ticket in electronic mode, disaster management, so that in case of any mishappening or any emergency or exigency, immediately we come to know about the position, location of that bus and what's happened exactly. Travel information through IVRS website. We are the first STU, UPSRTC, to get 149 telephone number registered in our favor by the Telecom Ministry. On the same line of Railway 139 inquiry service. So this is project overview. There are 4 interfaces: web, mobile, display units, and speaker. That is public address system installed at all the bus stations, 300 bus stations. Then display units also installed at each and every bus station. So passenger could know the locations as well as arrival and departures of various services. These are the components. ATM electronic ticketing machine. Earlier manual tickets used to be issued by our conductors. Now every conductor has electronic ticketing machine, and it prints out the ticket, and complete information is recorded, so which we can retrieve at the end of the journey. So revenue collection has become more convenient as well as more transparent. But still there are some misuse by the conductors. In place of giving that electronic tickets to the passengers, what they are doing, they are issuing inspection reports generated by ATMs. And we are also trying to how we can solve that problem. Then ticketing websites, we have collaborated with MakeMyTrip.com, Redbus.com, and different other websites, so anybody can get tickets online. Then ticketing counters, we have already set up 150 ticketing counters at different bus stations. GPS enabled vehicle tracking system. All 9,600 buses, we have installed GPS enabled vehicle tracking system, so we can know the position and location of the buses, as well as in case of over speeding, harsh braking, or unauthorized halt, we get alerts. And 24/7 we are running our control room, so that alerts immediately we act on that information, and then our teams are sent to that particular location. So we have analyzed that because of these alerts, the number of accidents have reduced, and it has come down to by 24% deaths. So the speed is monitored and governed, as well as there are the incidences of harsh braking are also minimized. Then we have data center and disaster recovery center network components. These are the infrastructure created in Mumbai and Bangalore. So these are 2 places where we have set up data centers and disaster recovery center. Passenger information system, all the conductors have been provided with radio frequency ID card, so that whenever bus enters in the premise of that bus station, he touches the card reader and immediately PA system announces the arrival of bus, and display on LCD is also ensured. This is online ticket booking, green initiative. As I have mentioned, anybody gets ticket on mobile 567678. On this number, if somebody sends SMS writing ATOM, ATOM, so one application will be downloaded in his mobile, and through that application anytime he can get that ticket on his mobile. It's digital ticket, and there is no need of printing it up. Seat selection, the passenger now has this option of selecting the seat of his or her own choice, because there will be layout plan displayed online, and whichever seat is available, he can book that seat. Mobile ticketing, as I have mentioned, is a payment through different payment modes: debit card, credit cards, net banking, mobile payment system. These are counter ticket bookings. 150 counters set up all buses. RFID smart coins. Now, because Uttar Pradesh is not very literate, particularly in rural areas, there are people who are using UPSRTC services. 70% people belong to rural background or lower strata of the society, and they are not very well versed with the smart cards or net banking and things like that. So ultimately, now we are in talking terms with State Bank of India, so that they have proposed some RFID smart coins in different color codes, similar to that used in metro. So cashless travel becomes easy, and we also get sufficient revenue. Pilferage is also checked that way. These are conductor's ticket booking ETMs, and this is a sample inspection chit which was generated basically for the inspection, which were issued to the passengers, and this we caught hold of. These are smart card initiatives with ICICI Bank, and other banks are also coming forward to get associated with UPSRTC. State Bank of India, one of them, and HDFC also. MST cards already implemented. Student MST cards also we are issuing through camps at different educational institutions. Open-ended travel cards, 20% discounts are provided to the passengers who travel through these cards. So this 20% extra travel value on issue and top up. And these are multi-function cards, because not only travel but shopping also can be done by using these cards. This is the system of smart cards. Public information system, as I mentioned, even SMS based public information system we have introduced. If you send SMS to 56767 and just type down arrival Delhi or departure Delhi, next 5 services starting from that particular place or nearby bus station, immediately you will get the information, and you will also get to know the fare, availability of seats and other information. Toll-free helpline 1800-180-2877 we have already started. Then All India IVRS 149, which I mentioned, is under process. This is public information system and display through our LCD panels. Tracking, vehicle tracking system. For passenger safety, each and every bus we have installed SOS button also, so that whenever some mishappening is there, passenger or conductor just presses this button and 1090, that is our women helpline, police control room 100, fire control room and our control room, all are connected with this SOS system, and we get to know about that incident. These are vehicle tracking system, operations, control and monitoring through FMIS and different solutions. This is under progress. Operational, control and monitoring, tracking, as I said. Zero cost sustainable implementation methodology, Trimax we have roped in. So each ticket we contribute 39 paise per ticket from additional source of revenue created from the project. It will go to Trimax. IT roadmap of UP SRTC, way forward. Social networking, presence on Facebook, Twitter and friends, forum on website. UPSRTC website, we have also created this friends forum. Then CCTV surveillance, this is under progress. We have already submitted a proposal to Government of India to get funds from Nirbhaya Fund, and it's under consideration. And these are some of the suggestive proposals which we are looking at. And for this, certainly IT companies, they are most welcome. They can approach to us because e-office and paperless office, e-tendering, video conferencing, GPS and mobile surveillance on vehicles of checking squads, automatic crew duty allotment and attendance monitoring, HR and smart card payment, payroll application, and these are different kind of components. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mishra. It was an excellent example of use of information technology for improving the services, improving sustainability, avoiding pilferage. The presentation was very, very informative and useful to everybody. Now I call upon Mr. Deepak Srivastava, who is Chief Vigilance Officer of Mahanadi Coalfields Limited. It may be improper on my part because I did not mention in the beginning, but please try to restrict your presentation to about 7 to 8 minutes. Thank you.
Square kilometers, and profit after taxes 5,400 crore. So it's not a small company by any means. Next. Straightway coming to highlights of IT initiatives because time frame has been given. E-procurement, it's not a new thing. It's now everywhere. And just go on the e-procurement slide. Just click on that. Yes. This is our portal, e-procurement portal. Next. These are the salient features of our e-procurement system, which is no offline documents are there. Online bid evaluation is there. Technical parameter sheet is evaluated online. And so far, following this e-procurement guidelines, we have finalized, we started in 2009, and till now we have finalized 6,000 odd tenders worth rupees 6,400 crore, and in a successful manner. This is an ERP package, wide area network, spread across 2,700 square kilometers of area. So there is no work which we have done on pilot basis. We have ensured that all the project areas are well covered by all the IT interventions. So this is the integrated layout diagram of the MCL network. It covers project to the headquarters, distantly located, remotely located mine areas. Next, so kar dijiye. These are radio connectivity is there by optical fibers and by radio connectivity. So entire area is on the CoalNet, and this CoalNet we are utilizing in, दिखाइए जरा सा modules ऐसे modules नहीं है इसमें. Personal information system, financial information system, land information system, sales and marketing, all issuance of delivery orders, everything is on CoalNet. Online contractual bill payment. Real-time monitoring of the contractual bill payment is through CoalNet. This coal net was earlier in bits and pieces, so with vigilance intervention, we got it stabilized. And since November 2012 till date, 3,500 crore of contractual payment has been made on real-time basis, first in, first out, like this. Next. दिखाइए इसको, in motion wave bridges. Now coal payment is an, अभी चलाइएगा मत. Coal payment is an issue. It's a gray area in the coal sector. In MCL, in the year 2012, when I took over in 2011, we studied, we found that only 20% of the coal trippers were being weighed. And rest 80% there was an average calculation of the coal production. So it attracted vigilance attention that everything was not fair in the reporting of the coal payment data. इसको चला दीजिए. This was the static road weigh bridge before our vigilance intervention. Just see, this is the tipper coming. This is a static roadway bridge. MCL is handling more than 100 million tons of production in a year. Now this driver is getting down. So much of time consumption is there in coal payment. He is taking its own time. He will go to the weighbridge clerk, then we will get the trip sheet, then he will get into the vehicle, then it will move. So with this technology, it is obvious that 20% of the payment can only take place. We cannot ensure 100% payment because of the large handling, large volume of the production, coal production. इसको skip कर दीजिए. Next, now this was the transit pass of static weigh bridge, all handwritten manual. Next. Now with this was our vigilance intervention. We brought in motion roadway bridges. Now see the difference. This is a coal laden truck. RFID tag is there. This is an RFID reader. So just pass. Now this is in slow motion. It is passing through the weigh bridge. Speed is 2 to 3 kilometers because that will not give any error in the coal production, that is coal payment data. So this is passing. There is no hindrance, no stopping, no getting down of driver. Now 100% payment is taking place as on date, and this has been possible only with RFID driven in motion roadway bridges. Now this is inside the weigh bridges. Inside the weigh bridges, what is happening? As soon as the truck is passing, the payment is getting recorded, date and time, tear weight, gross weight, net weight, everything, and it's a full and transparent manner. The coal payment is being recorded. Next दिखा दीजिए. इसको हटाइए, skip कीजिए. कोल नेट कनेक्टिविटी वाला दिखा दीजिए. Now see, now we can get the information directly into our central server. As soon as a truck passes through the weigh bridges, the following data can be seen. We have taken a snapshot of 30th July. There is an interconnect problem. Otherwise, I would have shown live also for today. All the tear weight, gross weight, gross weight, net weight, truck number, details, everything. It comes directly on the central server. No fudging of the records at the end of the day. No manipulation, no malpractice. It is a real-time transmission of the coal payment data, which has taken. Pardon. Yeah. Yeah, we cross-check because we have found that sometimes a small, this kind of truck, additional tires, means water tanks. This all we have checked. By after checking, yes, periodically we check and we sensitize that this should not be repeated like that. Next. Now this is this real-time transmission. Now this is the यहाँ पे geofencing. Now coal theft, illegal diversion is a main issue, is a major area of corruption in the coal sector. दिखाइए. ये snapshot है. Geofencing. ये all the trucks. These are all tippers. We have taken the snapshot, and these are all the tippers. The movement is being monitored on the central server, and with the user ID and login password, anybody from anywhere in the country can see the trucks of the MCL. Next दिखाइए. ये group mode है, ये different projects का next दिखा दीजिए, इसमें appreciate नहीं होगा. हाँ. So up trip summary report of vehicles. With that tracking, we get trip summary report of the vehicles. This is an ID tag, system driven ID tag is there. This is RTO number of trips made by that particular vehicle. And this is the contractor's name. CPT, PCTPL, like that. It is the contractor's name of the truck. Next. ये ट्रिप समरी डिटेल्स हैं जिसमें कि स्टार्ट लोकेशन है, स्टार्ट टाइम है, रीडर है, रीडिंग है मीटर की, एंड टाइम है, ट्रिप डिस्टेंस, बिकॉज देर इज अ लॉट ऑफ बंगलिंग इन द लीड. They move the truck for just 1.5 kilometers and charge 2 kilometers lead. So with this, that will be nipped in bud. No more irregularity in the means charging of the trip distance in the daily contractual bills. Now this is route violation details. Yes, it is very important because there are all the railway sidings, all the crusher, all the CHPs are geofenced, and route has been earmarked for that. And any violation at any point of time, even in the night time, that will be tracked, and the route, we can go to the history also of that particular vehicle and track the history. Next. This is the travel path summary of the vehicle. Any vehicle can be clicked, and travel path history can also be traced कि वो रात को 12 बजे से लेकर सुबह 6 बजे तक कहाँ गया, कैसे गया, कितने स्पीड पे गया, वायलेशन हुआ कि नहीं हुआ. और whenever violation takes place, there is a system of SMS alert, and also on the central server. So with this kind of intervention, we have tried to bring in more and more transparency in the operations. Next. ना ये auto refund पे कर दीजिए. When we gone through the balance sheet of company's balance sheet of 2012, we saw 16 crore of liabilities on account of EMD, on account of SD, on account of bank guarantees. And there was a lot of hue and cry, lot of complaints about delay in refund, ranging from 3 months to 3 years. Then we, with the help of NIC and Axis Bank, we launched this during the Vigilance Awareness Week of 2013. System-driven auto refund. So MCL Central Pool account, all the EMD's refund and SD refund comes. On the very next day of the L1 bidder, the L1 bidder is declared today, X plus 1 day. Refund takes place with a single click respective to their, back to their accounts from where it has come. So there is no delay at all, and till now 1800 unsuccessful bidders, we have paid 3.65 crore of rupees in just a span of 4-5 months, and it is working in a hassle-free manner. And there is a provision for support administrator in this, which has not been shown, which handles all the complicated case like litigation, failed transaction like that. So up till now, the system is working very well, and it has also reduced number of complaints related to EMD refunds. Next. यहाँ आ जाइए. ये एक प्रॉब्लम हमारे समर सीजन में क्या होता था कि CSR एक्टिविटीज़ में ड्रिंकिंग वाटर सप्लाई टू द पेरिफेरल विलेजेस हम लोग करते थे, जिसमें कि लॉट ऑफ बंगलिंग वाज देयर इन ट्रिप रिकॉर्डिंग. पानी वो नाले से उठाते थे और कहते थे कि साफ पानी गांव को दे रहे हैं, और बहुत सारे फेक बिल्स रेज होते थे. सो व्हाट वी हैव डन, दिखाइए नेक्स्ट. ये GPRS उसमें VTS फिक्स कर दिया हर कॉन्ट्रेक्चुअल टिपर्स में. NIT में डाल दिया कि आपको कॉन्ट्रेक्चुअल आप तब तक अलाउड नहीं करेंगे तब तक कि आपका GPRS फिक्स ना हो. उसके बाद दिखाइए. उससे फायदा क्या हुआ? IR related problems have stopped, no hindrances in coal transportation. Then पहले साल में बिल था 4.6 crore for the 3 months period of supply of drinking water. It has gone down by 78.67 lakh. Total transparency in movement of vehicles, उसमें भी tracking हो जाती है, और one time depreciated cost of 2000 per truck वो instrument लगा, और rental था 600 per month. Next. This is the last. For all the employees, regular employees, we have got PIS module already in place in CoalNet, but contractual workers, there was no PIS. And this was the area where a lot of fake wage bills were being raised. हमारे को जो दिखाया गया था वो 22,000 बताया गया था कि 22,000 कॉन्ट्रेक्चुअल वर्कर्स हैं, लेकिन जब हम लोगों ने फोटो अपलोडिंग कराया है तो अब तक 17,000 और लोगों का ही फोटो अपलोड हो पाया है. एंड वी हैव गॉट द इंफॉर्मेशन दैट नो फर्दर एम्प्लॉइज आर remaining to be uploaded online. So company will be saving not less than 5,000 contractual wage bill. So this kind of bungling was taking place, so we got it this way. उसका पूरा employee name जैसे regular employee का था profile वैसे ही बिल्कुल contractual का with photo uploading. So it has tightened the noose on the contractor. He cannot claim fake bill, and company can also relax, and its establishment bill will go down in days to come. So this was my short presentation. Thank you very much.
थैंक यू श्रीवास्तव जी, बहुत सारी बातें बहुत कम समय में आपने हमको बताई. And I had the privilege of seeing some coal mines. It's a mammoth task to control such activities. Word in itself. बिल्कुल सही कहा आपने सर. And controlling this type of malpractices was not an easy job. You have done a wonderful job. You deserve all accolades. Thank you. And I invite the next speaker, that is Mr. N.K. Verma. Verma ji is Chief General Manager in Rashtriya Chemicals and Fertilizers, which is well-known government undertaking.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I was tempted to avoid the PowerPoint, but anyway, I think I should go ahead with this. Let me thank the organizers, ILETS, Government of Maharashtra and others for providing this platform to share our IT experience with this August gathering. Although I find a few chairs vacant, but anyway, enthusiasm is good enough. The people who are there till the end of day. RCF being a commercial organization and manufacturing organization has to depend on IT for so many business processes, transactions, etc. Unlike the great things I heard from the people who are talking about e-health and e-governance and all, I really salute them for doing this human service to the common people of India. We generally deal with our customers who are not exactly farmers, though they are the consumers. Our customers are the dealers, and in case of industrial products, there are some industrialists who are the dealer, who are our customers. So we don't come across the ground level people or the root level of people coming in picture in case of our IT implementation. Recently, we have started one free helpline, toll-free number for farmers, wherein they can raise their queries, ask certain questions. We have outsourced this through some call centers, and they get their replies. RCF is a mini Ratna company, turnover of around 7,000 crores, has been making continuously profits for last 35 years or so. And this is one of the rare phenomena in case of fertilizer companies who normally tend to incur losses once they are slacken somewhere. I will talk briefly about IT history and implementation of ERP and what other initiatives we have taken. I have seen RCF coming out from the days of IBM 1401, which was used for data collecting and compiling and the report printing, to the days of ERP with IBM mainframe. In between, there has been certain phases of transition, but RCF normally had been a forerunner in field of IT, particularly in fertilizer sector. I will try to make it fast. RCF has two manufacturing units, one at Alibag, Thal Alibag, and another one at Trombay. Trombay has got the corporate office. Previously, before we introduced ERP, there were two separate data centers. They are doing their own data compilation, consolidation separately, and then finally consolidating at corporate level and bringing out the annual results and all those things. We lagged behind a bit in the late 90s when we had to run with an old system for almost 15 years. And when we realized it was too late, we then switched over to ERP. We decided to switch over to ERP. And 2005, we implemented an ERP, that is SAP, with all its modules. We have implemented all FICO, that is finance controlling, sales and dispatch, materials management, quality management, production planning, plant maintenance, business warehouse, and HR and payroll. There are so many advantages of doing this. And with this, we also implemented a virtual private network of our own for the marketing area offices to transact online. We have recently upgraded the ERP to the next version, and along with that, we have got certain other features included into it. There's an enterprise portal where we have got self-service for the employee self-service and manager self-service, where we can have leave applications forwarded online, saving on the writing leave applications and then getting it approved. We can have performance appraisal field online, no performance appraisal forms, it's kept in system only. We have bills like travel bills, telephone bills claimed online and approved online. We have got dashboards implemented for top management, wherein production figures, sales and financial figures and HR figures all are tabulated and represented at charts where they can appreciate the trend and the pattern of that, and they can take decisions based on the pattern that is being followed. We implemented governance, risks and compliance module, wherein the authorizations are exactly defined, who can access the system and what are all the transactions he can execute in the system. Last year we implemented cash management project as a part of e-transaction between State Bank of India, which is our main banker, and our company. Whatever this leads to automatic payment, transfer of funds between State Bank of India and RCF, incoming and outgoing both. The customer portal we have developed as a part of e-governance, we can say, wherein the customer on web can see his own billing documents, debit note, credit note, the status payment documents and the status, outstanding reports, then stock availability, where he can get the material, available credit limits for him, and his own account, whatever is the balance, and he can give feedback into that portal. Similar thing, we have got the vendors who can see the status of their bills and invoices, whatever, when they are being paid. Earlier they used to run around, people in finance department and others, asking for their payment status and all. Now they know that their invoice has been submitted, it has been forwarded. If the bill is not getting paid, then what are the reasons, he can find out. And he can, of course, again give complaints. The transparency is there. We are forwarding SMS to the vendors and customers. Whenever any important transaction takes place, an SMS is shot to his mobile phone, and then he comes to know the status. Whenever the material is transported, whenever it leaves the factory premises, an SMS is again given to him, he knows the status. Employees get their salaries through emails. The statement is given electronically to them, but this is only for officers so far. Workers have not been given this employee self-service. And then SMS is sent to all the employees regarding the salary, net salary they have got, the leave balance they have got, etc. We have also created a forum in our portal, or the website, for employees and ex-employees, where they can share their opinion and they can have their views, they can sometimes their complaints, and it is available to them, but available to only ex-employees and employees. Keeping the security concerns of the organization, we have recently introduced CCTV-based surveillance system with access control, wherein we have got flap barriers, turnstiles, and also introduced boom barriers for some of the outgoing materials, trucks and all. These boom barriers will be introduced for employees' cars also, but that's still in progress. We have recently introduced an integrated communication collaboration system, where we can just have internally. We implemented e-procurement system, of course, as Mr. Srivastava was telling about Mahanadi Coalfields. We visited Mahanadi Coalfields. We saw their e-procurement system implemented by NIC, and we have implemented the same system recently, and it is working quite well as I understand. We are also inspired by Department of Information Technology, Maharashtra government. I visited that department once to see the paperless office, and it was really amazing to see how so many approvals and other documents flow electronically. We are trying to make that possible in our organization very soon. In terms of green initiative, we are trying to use all the equipment which are most energy efficient wherever possible. We are trying to cut down on printings. In so many cases we have cut down the printings. In fact, in some of the cases we have eliminated the printings. Printing like delivery challans, receipt orders, payment advices and all are not printed nowadays. Wherever it's really mandatory, some documents to be printed, they are printed, which are maybe carried by the transporters and all. We spend about 0.15 to 0.2% of our revenues on IT every year, and approximately 60% of that is invested in new projects and innovative ideas. In 2012, we were awarded Best on Public Sector Implementation by SAP. With that, I thank you all for giving me a patient listening.
Thank you, Verma ji, for the nice presentation. It was very, very useful, informative, and good learning to everybody. Now, I invite a very powerful person, Mr. Nitin Chandurkar. He is from Mahajanko, which deals with generation of power. Yes, Chandurkar ji. He is not having any PowerPoint presentation.
Thank you, Sunika. Good evening, friends. While going through all the presentations and 2 days, I just wanted to, being an IT head for PSU, so whatever the IT implementation Mahajanko has done, and then I just wanted to touch base on the challenges faced by as an IT implementer into the PSUs. So I just wanted to touch base on those. So being a Mahajanko, Maharashtra State Power Generation Company, formerly it was a MSCB, Maharashtra State Electricity Board. So after trifurcation, the generation wing, so it's called as a Mahajanko. So we are the second largest in India as far as the power generation is concerned after NTPC. As far as the West region is concerned, we are the first number one position. So by considering the growth of Mahajanko, so Mahajanko has decided to go for the IT implementations. So as far as the IT implementation concerns, so we mainly talked on the 3 aspects. So one is the procurement. So we already have the e-procurements, which is developed by us only. So with the help of MKCL, Maharashtra Knowledge Centers. So it is already implemented, which already been in place, including the auctions in place. So it's all payment gateway of the ICICI Bank. Then we have implemented the GCR, it's a generation control room. So which is one of a unique project which has all the plant's parameters. We have captured around 144 parameters, the runtime parameters from all the plants. So all the visual display, we set up a centralized control room at Prakashgarh, Mumbai. So where our POG, the performance optimization group people sits and they guide the plant's owner if there is any discrepancies for any coal mill is not working or is there in a heat rush going up. So any discrepancy they found, they just go and alarm them, what is going wrong, please check the things, please check the input. So that is in place, which is very well being used by our managements as far as the daily dashboard is concerned. Then the third and most important, as far as the business is concerned, so we implemented ERP as a SAP ERP. So regarding the SAP, yes, we implement all our business model, including finance, sales, our procurement, HR, then our plant maintenance, operations. So all the model quality, so all the models are in place. So why I wanted to highlight this means when we start this project, the project was purely based on vendor to customers. So that was the idea for us. The vendor is our coal company is our vendor, and customer is DISCOM. So where we sell the power, main customer is the distribution. So we match all the processes when the coal transfers, sir has shown, so what are the criticality. But our Mahagenco's 80% of revenue goes on the fuel basically. So around 12,000 crore company, so around 9,000 crore to 10,000 crore goes on only on the fuel. So mainly on the coal basically. So, and coal get transferred from different locations. So we have interface with the railways, with the coal companies, with other vendors. So as a part of implementation, the SAP implementation, we did all the interfaces with railways, means including CRIS. CRIS has this facility. They have, when the train is going to come to your location, so they have this software. So we trap the movement of train. So when any siding or any colliery left for Mahagenco, I came to know when that coal is going to come to my office or my plant. So once the weighbridge has happened, just what we saw, the weighbridge has happened, the railway uploads that particular weighbridges onto in the form of RR, they call it the rail receipt. So we tie up with the CRIS software and we get that information. So you consider the scenario, there are around 15 parameters for 58 wagons. So that much of data entry we save for the particular, when that rake, before the rake receives, we have the rake information, so what coal it is carrying, what grade of coal, how many wagons, what is the weight of that particular wagon. So all this information is there. Then they unload that particular by means of the same weighbridges. So we have interfaces the weighbridges and then we get to know what is the coal quantity which is dispatched and which actually got. So which used to take 3 to 4 days in the earlier scenarios. So we developed that, we implemented that model. I just wanted to highlight that because this was the one-off sort of implementation as far as the SAP is concerned, because generally SAP has their own standard models, the procurement, quality, finance, they are doing. But this fuel management is one of the solution which is designed and developed by Mahagenco itself. About this project, so this is the only project which, or the project in the PSU implementation which has completed well in time. So the task has given to be 18 months. So with all this criticality, so around we have implemented SAP for 34 locations across Mahagenco, including the remote location where we have some hydro plants. Then with all 34 locations for 16,000 employees, with all 11 modules of SAP, and that has been done only within 1.5 years of time. So during this particular time, we mainly concentrated on the 4 pillars of this, any IT implementation, so like data, infrastructure, solutions, and people. So we build all these pillars together. So we build our own data center, we build our own infrastructure with all the plants and those connectivities. Then we train all our people to get them trained on SAP as well as to get the business sign-off as far as the solution is concerned. So all this has done, and this is done in a very well-timed manner, because generally this implementation, the ERP implementation generally drags, but we managed to implement in a well in time. Now the situation currently, we are the one who are using the budget log of SAP. So I think I'm not sure about the other implementer, whether they are doing it, but it gives me the facility, means whatever the budget has been allocated, that the particular section cannot procure beyond that. So that particular things or the SAP tools already been used. So we have online inventory management. We have our daily plant performance report, which is going by mail to all the chief engineers and to the plants, to their respective officer every morning 6 o'clock, so that they get the feel, okay, what is the coal position, what is the generation. So all those things are online. So besides that, so by looking this implementation, so a lot of PSUs which are get in touch with us, like Gujarat Electricity Board, then UP Janco, then our West Bengal. So those are the people who have actually started or willing to go for the ERP solution. Generally they comes to us. We have achieved this particular milestone, so we just give this particular, I cannot say it's a consultancy, it is just a knowledge sharing which we did, which we do with all the PSUs or all the people who came, including SEBI also, they also came and see our HR implementation. So it is one of the implement. They said, yes, these are the things which they wanted to carry out because of the all government things. So all the PSU things, because as far as the finance, if you see as a procurement, so we have all the DOP, that is delegation of power map into the system, all our purchase proposal, all our purchase orders, as started through the system, we made that payment block. So unless the system, unless the purchase order or PO cannot be generated to the system, the payment should not be generated. So all those things has been done in great time. Still, I have some observation or some things which has not touched within these 2 days. So one is the challenges being an IT head. What are the challenges I can see as far as the any IT implementation concerned? So first and most, being a ERP or any IT system is it requires a discipline. So PSU, for my background, I work with private organization. I was a senior project manager with Tech Mahindra for around 14 years. Then after I joined this PSU. So there when I compare with the private organization versus PSU organization, so I see these particular things. One is the lack of discipline, where such IT systems which definitely require the discipline, where the data entry is going to cut. Yesterday there was a person who mentioning he has to get some IIT and helps to find out what is his problem basically. So where we are going to get this? So where we are going to get the discipline into the system operators. Then what I found is the ownership, the lack of ownership basically, means what is happening for any private organization, there is only one owner. So there is a one boss and everybody follows him. In PSUs or in government sector, what happened? There will be either there are multiple stakeholders or there will no one wanted to take that responsibility, hold that responsibility. So that particular ownership or the discipline is definitely going to get or get the IT implementation. Then what I see, the change management. So people are not willing to change, means they are stick up with their legacies which they are using, whether it is a good, bad, or they are not, that particular introspections is not been done while going for the implementation, or so that change management is one of the challenge I see. Then after this change management, rather than change management, I'll see the management change. That is another threat I can see. Being a PSU or being a government norms, you have to, your top boss gets changed after every 3 years. So again the story started, you have to reinvent the wheel whenever the new boss comes. So you have to start it again, explaining what we have done first. Being a power generation as a critical and very complicated system, all the engineering branches are getting used into, you name the branch and we have work for him. So understanding first the power generation, then the process, and then the criticality behind it, and then on the top of it, understanding the IT systems which has been implemented. So whenever there is the management change, so I see there are again, it gets me on the back foot. Then what another things which I see being as compared with the private organization, being a government, we have this means getting the right people or right persons on this particular job, getting them updated up to the mark is really challenging for us, because getting anything means any single training for my team or getting anything, any new recruit which is, I know this is particular is going to help me out, but unless it is going through some process, some procurement process, and procurement has this standard facet, that L1, so that L1 cannot be a better, so so that particular things I can see is very challenging for me. Then the last and not least, adopting the best practices of the market. We are talking about the process re-engineering, all those things. It means when we go for this such implementation, we should have to revisit our processes first. We need to see whether this is really required, not required, or what value can this particular bit can be brought in if I go away with this, or if I can introduce this. So such particular brainstorming, such particular things has to happen before implementing of such systems. So these are, means as far as my knowledge and my experience is concerned, I just wanted to share, and I just wanted to keep this particular discussions here only, sir, before the mentor call for the time. Thank you for giving this opportunity.
The topic of the workshop is knowledge exchange. Knowledge is power. Mr. Chandurkar has empowered with all of you with all this knowledge which you can use in your organization. Thank you, Mr. Chandurkar. Now the last speaker, that's myself. I really appreciate your patience. You all are still sitting here. कल किसी ने कहा था, I am not tech savvy. Then somebody said, I am not a technocrat. Then somebody said, I am a layman. All these three apply on me. Over and above that, I am a forest officer. Well, it's a different type of sector. Forestry sector means you are dealing with environment, dealing with animals, dealing with plants. Tiger doesn't listen to me. It follows its own dictates. Crocodile lives for 100 years. Very difficult to change him. And teak tree takes 120 years to reach the maturity. So this is what this sector is. And we have to manage this resource in a sustainable way. It's again a very difficult job. To what extent you can apply IT in this, that is to be seen. At first, I would like to talk about my organization, that is Forest Development Corporation of Maharashtra Limited. It started as Forest Development Board way back in 1969. And with the experience of 4 divisions, this corporation was created under Companies Act in 1974. We get the area for working from Forest Department, which is the parent body. We have 6% land taken from the Forest Department. That comes to around 3.6 lakh hectares. Basically, we are in production forestry. We are in teak forestry. And teak, as you know, is ideal timber species. It is also described as green gold. And it always sells without any problem. So initially, we started with teak only. Teak is the indigenous species of Maharashtra, natural species. At the same time, it is a strong light demander from the beginning till end of its life. That means it doesn't grow under the canopy. It needs open areas. So it can be best worked under clear felling systems. Initially, we raised 1.25 lakh hectares of teak plantations. In 1987, government gave its verdict. Our forests need respite, so no clear felling. To be honest, this instruction was should not have been made applicable to the state of Maharashtra, which is teak area. And teak is a light demander species I have mentioned in the beginning itself. But yes, these were government orders. So we started working on different lines. Some EGS was then plantation of miscellaneous species, not teak. And then in 2002, we started overwood removal. Whatever working we undertake, for that we have a management plan, which is duly approved by Government of India, having the directions from Supreme Court. So it's all scientific working. So the initial system of working, that was conversion to uniform. That means miscellaneous crop converted into high value teak forest. Now it's overwood removal, where we leave 40, 50 trees which are of maybe medicinal plant, maybe fruit bearing trees, liked by people, liked by animals. We have created plantations over 5.25 lakh hectares, which is a record in itself. We have assets as per book value, only teak plantations, maybe 800 crores of rupees. Market value may be 3,500 to 4,000 crore rupees. Today, we are working on 35 to 40,000 hectares area annually. Maybe harvesting teak or other species, maybe bamboo, maybe pole crop, getting from thinning yield. Thinning yield means, as I have mentioned, that teak reaches full maturity in 120 years, and we have fixed the period of harvesting of 80 years. So in between, we take intermediate yields, that is thinning yield. So this is regarding the organization. We generate man days of the order of 30 lakhs. It's a small organization in the sense that we have 1,688 posts, then a cadre of 1 Majur, class 4 employees, 1,000 who have been regularized recently. In 87, we thought of diversifying our activities, and we have entered into so many other fields. One is turnkey projects. We are undertaking plantations for other organizations, WCL, NHAI, Film City, Defense. These are among the agencies for whom we have worked. We have undertaken beautification works or landscaping also in Kundal Academy. Then we have, to our credit, one important wildlife project, that is Gorewala International Standard Zoo and Rescue Center at Nagpur. We are into medicinal plant conservation, we are in wildlife management, and then we created a wonderful biopark, biodiversity conservation, that's Governor House, Raj Bhavan, Nagpur. So this was about FDCM. Though I have said in the beginning that I am not tech savvy and all that, but you will all find me very primitive if I don't mention anything about IT aspect that the company is doing. We had to recruit range forest officers, which is a gazetted officer level post. We requested MPSC. They said, we can't help you. You are a corporation, you recruit your own people. We adopted the role of MPSC. We recruited almost 50 range forest officers, and we made use of this technology. And I take pride in saying that there was not a single complaint in the whole recruitment process. In our account procedures, also we follow this technology. We are trying, though it's very difficult, that is e-auction. As I have mentioned that we raise timber and other forest crops, we auction that in our depots. But the experience says that the auction on the spot gives more revenue compared to when you try to do it in the hall and using the technology. We are still working on it. Then one field where we have implemented this technology successfully, that is ecotourism. We have started since last 2 years. We started in 12-13, 13-14, and now this is 14-15. Some of the ecotourism facilities, which are adjacent to the national parks and sanctuaries, have been handed over to FDCM for running it on efficient, proficient manner. We have one that is Tadoba, Moharli, and at Kolara. Then we have at Nagzira 3 facilities. We have one at Navegaon. We have 2 at Melghat, Kodkha, Semado, and 1 at Bor. We deployed a cadre of resort managers there, improved the facilities. These are nature-friendly accommodations. Of course, we had to improve the rates also. We trained the local people, the members of Village Eco Development Committee, in catering, housekeeping, such activities. And then we started the booking system, online booking system, initially with MOU with MTDC, and then we thought of having it independent system. Then we took the help of Maha Online, www.mahaecotourism.government.in. That is the site on which you can book your accommodation. This definitely improved customer satisfaction, because you can book well in advance. You know which accommodation is available where, which are the other accommodations. You have rooms, you have cottages, you have dormitories also, which is low cost accommodation and particularly used by students. So this is how we have tried to improve the ecotourism services. Now forestry sector is there basically to provide ecosystem services to the people. So I'm getting very good response out of this, and our services are being utilized not only by Indian crowd, but by people from abroad as well. They can book it conveniently. So this was about FDCM and the IT application in this field. Thank you, everybody. Now, the panel is open. You can discuss if you want anything. I don't know if you are tired, and you may decide to close the discussion. It's up to you. Welcome. Any questions, reactions? Exhausted. I really appreciate that. I can see the watch. I really...
Managed to get it finished in time, right?
We are 2 hours and 15 minutes behind the schedule. But still, I can see the people here. That's really wonderful. I enjoyed being here. I thank the organizers for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to not only to speak, but to chair this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. This was the last session, but it is a very important session because, for example, I have been to Odisha and I have seen the work going on in MCL by Deepak Srivastava, sir. And actually, हवा में बात नहीं है, ज़मीन में अंदर जाके बात काम कर रहे हैं, sir. And it's the same with UP, and we went and we saw the work there. So this was an important session for us. Important discussions happened, and thank you very much. So this was the last session of this event. Now I invite our program chair, Shri Rajesh Agrawal ji, to present mementos to these panelists and then give the conclusory remark also for this. With UP SRTC MD. First, yeah, for the chair, Shri A.K. Nigam ji. Mukesh ji. Verma Sahab. CGM IT Mahajan ko. And last but not the least, Deepak Srivastava ji, CVO MCL. He's doing a tremendous job of implementing IT in the mining sector. Sir, please.